Hey, I'm here, right? Like I'm dancing with my hands. Talk to the hand, baby, right? Like you can't get us. Hey, baby, we're a pacifist, right? Like we love you. Love thine enemy. Don't catch me schmooping, right? Like. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Today we're going to be doing a full D5 run through and clear using the Pacifist character. What if we could beat Brotato without killing any enemies? What if love did in fact conquer all? What if we could simply love thy enemies, as a popular book suggests we are ought to do? Today we're going to be able to employ all those lovely anachronistic quotes and more as we run through a good D5 clear using the lovely Pacifist, one of Brotato's initially, I think, at first glance challenging characters, although I assure you, Pacifist is quite strong in their own sort of special, if a little bit odd, way. Of course, we'll be talking through all the mechanics, having a good time, cracking some jokes, and helping you clear D5 easily and efficiently using the Pacifist character. Now, notably, the big drawback with the Pacifist is they get minus 100% damage, and this affects us in all sorts of negative ways, essentially meaning we cannot really kill things with Pacifist, at least not past wave, I don't know, 3 or so. So all this stuff like melee damage really does nothing. Truthfully, I'm rerolling looking for a little bit of speed. I do not get it. And all these are actually quite frankly worthless, so I will burn a lot of money on rerolls. That said, I do think harvesting is quite good on this character, and we'll sort of talk about some tricks as well. Not only do you get negative 100% damage, but the game, they know our tricks. They know how we break some other characters. And we also get negative 100 engineering as well, meaning we can't do the engineering strategy, which works quite frequently on other characters that do have a damage penalty, such as Explorer, although there are a couple of others. So no, we cannot even go with the sort of trick of going into engineering. So we do in fact deal no damage, and we will not be killing any enemies. In order to help ameliorate these big disadvantages, we get materials for every enemy that is left on the map, and it gives us approximately the same amount of materials that we might get if we were able to take our enemies out as we normally would. That said, despite that, you don't get quite as ahead in the economy as you do on this particular character compared to others, simply because you can't get things like hunting trophies. You can't really snowball via some of the other traditional methods. So that is something he might. We do notably get a lovely lumberjack shirt, which means even though we can deal no damage whatsoever, we can in fact still take those trees out for reckless abandon. So just because we are playing the Pacifist does not mean we cannot roleplay Paul Bunyan. So we can still keep those fantasies alive, even if many of our others are in fact taken away from us. However, we'll do our best to play as Mother Teresa. Now, notably, I do think the hand is far and away the most effective way to play this character. I'm not saying that other ways are necessarily awful. I think you can make, tasers work pretty well. I mean, it's definitely doable. That said, for my money, if I'm playing, I think hands are the most effective and easiest way to play the character, as they give a couple of unique bonuses. Noticeably, hands deal no damage, and they deal no damage with this character especially so. However, they do a really good job of keeping these enemies kind of pushed away from us. So the advantage is we can go ahead and whack these enemies and kind of bounce them back, and this does pair quite well with the boxing glove. So definitely an item that I think works well with these hands. This helps us keep us nice and safe. So we'll kind of demonstrate how these hands work here together. Notably, the characters do have a little bit of, enemies do have a little bit of collision sort of mechanics. So you see we're kind of able to bunch them up together. Notably, I do think attack speed is a valuable defensive sort of attribute to get on this character specifically, as basically the higher attack speed you have, the more sort of, quicker your hands can kind of knock enemies away. Now, it is important to note early on, these little enemies that charge us, I think they're actually just called the Chargers. These little horned or helmeted aliens are the sort of big thing you want to watch out for in the first sort of 9 or 10 waves, simply because your knockback does not apply to them. So that is one thing to keep in mind, is your knockback does work on more enemies than you might initially think. However, the hand knockback does not actually apply to all enemies, notably these little brown enemies that are charging us. So early on, we do just want to keep them sort of at hand's length, you might say, as I take a little bit of avoidable damage there, but that is okay, as those sort of will be the biggest early challenge we have to face. However, we will go ahead and just run around those. Notably, I do think speed is quite good early on this character, so I will prioritize like beanies and things like that. That said, aside from that, we're really going to go into defense. I do think Piggy Bank is actually quite good on this character. However, we will be ignoring it for the sake of this run, just because I kind of want to showcase a more sort of basic default run that's not going to kind of use like an odd strategy. Although I do think Piggy Bank can be quite good on this character. Now, notably, we will not be able to take these eggs out, even if you get to those eggs just in time with these hands. It is relatively difficult, or I'd say relatively impossible. I'm sure it's theoretically possible, but even if you run straight to the eggs right as they spawn past, like I said, wave 4 or 5 or so, it really is impossible to line up kills with this character. So we will not be taking those eggs out. And I do actually think this character, the hard part for Pacifist, I truly think, is these earlier waves where we get all these sort of chargers running us down. We get all the aliens. Notably, more enemies in the later waves can actually be kind of bonked back. So, you know, I'm not super worried about the later waves, even though they can get a little hairy. So we just want to be careful of these enemies here. Nice and early as we run around, keeping our guys at bay. For free, do like a recycling machine. Even though armor I think is pretty good, pardon me, I do really feel like we're missing a little bit of speed. And I will start getting that dodge up. We'll go ahead and keep upgrading these hands. I love things like Peaceful Bee. Cute Monkey, nobody does not do very much as we get many materials since we're not killing anything. Candle, even though there's less enemies, we do want to keep a decent number of enemies on the map simply so we can keep... we want to keep lots of enemies on the map so our sort of pacifist 6.65 materials keeps triggering. Gentle Alien is a bit of a controversial pick. I will go ahead and take it here. I am not necessarily convinced it is neither good nor bad. It does give us HP. It does make us sort of have to dodge more enemies. However, you know, it does leave more enemies on the map, which we get more materials at the end. So, you know, I'd take a couple. It's not like some other characters where I would like instantly snap up every single Gentle Alien I see. On this character, I'll take a couple, but I'm not going to like sort of overwhelm myself with them. That's it. We've got our hands going, and the hands notably are support weapons and apply harvesting. We'll show how that works at the end of this wave. In the meantime, we will continue focusing on our defense as well as our regen, which will help us sort of get through these challenges that come at us a little bit easier. But once again, you can see, hey, you're coming after us. That's okay. Like, take your time. Charge us down, bruisers. We're going to be chilling here. We're going to be having a good time. We're going to be saying, you know, no, not here today. As we sort of make it through wave 8 without, I don't think, much difficulty. So, relatively smooth wave there. Again, don't need any of these because we're going all defense. I will go ahead and take attack speed, and I love a legendary hand here. So let's take a look. These hands are support weapons, which means we get 25 harvesting with 6 of them. In addition, we get 15% dodge as they're unarmed weapons. So nice sort of weapon tags there. Notably, though, they do also give us harvesting, and that goes up quite a bit as we increase our hand rarity. So that hand rarity goes all the way up to 18, which is very, very valuable. So between the support tag and the hands, I do think this character really is easiest. I won't say best, although it is best. I will say this character is best played as a support character. I really think you should prioritize support on this character, specifically as if you do have, you know, 6 legendary hands. It is just a massive, and it's well over 100 harvestings just from the hands, and that's not even from the support tag. So because going hands, which again I do think are is the best way to play this character, you know, with the support tag and the hands giving you harvesting, I just think it's silly to not go into harvesting. I mean, because we're sort of pushed in such a degree. However, you know, how hard you go into harvesting is up to you. The nice thing is, because we do not care about damage at all, it really frees us up to take things like fertilizers as well as Peaceful Bees, which obviously reduce our damage, and we don't really care about reduced damage. So I do think harvesting just makes a ton of sense in this character, and we will build our character that way here today. Notably, the crown is quite good on Pacifist for that reason. So something to keep in mind. You know, I don't care about crit chance. I don't care about engineering. So this is essentially just speed. So we'll be happy to take that. You know, I'm not against getting our range up a little bit, but I'm more looking for things like speed as well as our armor, which we'll go ahead and keep getting up. So I really do like this warrior summon. Again, attack speed is defense with hands. So I do like getting a little bit of attack speed. You know, padding I think can be okay on this character. That said, here I'm not going to go ahead and take it, although you would not necessarily be wrong if you did. But you can see we're off to a nice 7 armor as well as 25% dodge. We are quite low on regen, which is something I do like on this character more so than others. So I do want to get a little bit of regen online, as we don't really kill enemies, so we can't really rely on like fruits to heal. We'll only get the fruits from the trees, which is a little bit inconsistent. So I've really been focusing on attack speed as well as harvesting, so I'll start worrying about the regen here momentarily. Now, notably, the other item that's just ludicrously good on this character is actually community support. The reason being is faster attack speed means our hands are pumping out even faster and doing a really good job at keeping enemies away from us. With community support, because we don't actually kill any enemies, there's always so many enemies on the map that our community support actually just provides us insane defense, which is very strong on this character, even though it does cost us defensive stats and armor. So I am really always looking out for community support as well as a crown, which I'd say are generally the best 2 items on Pacifist. So we will certainly be keeping our eye out for those. As you know, we're clearing things without too much difficulty. Obviously, we don't care about offensive percent damage. I actually am okay on speed for the moment, so I'll go ahead and take a little bit of harvesting. Even though we do want to keep our harvesting high, I will take a blood leech just to start getting some of our stuff online. And I do actually like it. Medical turrets on this character. I think this character really wants to stack attack speed. And for that reason, I really like improved tools on this character. And I just think improved tools / medical turrets just can be an effective sort of thing on this character. Now, notably, the pursuers, you can see we can kind of bash them into the wall here. Again, an enemy that does get affected by the hand knockback, even though these sort of weaker charger enemies do not. So that is something to keep in mind. Again, just sort of figuring out which enemies can be hit with the knockback and which cannot. Now, the other thing about hands is hands do, even though they don't get any real damage increase, they do get a lower cooldown when we upgrade them. So, functionally increasing the attack speed, making those hands a little bit better at keeping enemies at bay. However, the one notable thing to think about when it comes to hands is how the harvesting works. They start with 3, then 6, then 9 harvesting as they go from common, uncommon, and epic. However, that increases all the way up to 18 harvesting at legendary, making hands one of the items in the game that gets a drastic improvement when going to legendary. So it is often more efficient to get just a couple of your hands to legendary early, so you can get that little bit of harvesting bonus. I wouldn't worry about it too much, but just know that is something to think about. We really are getting speed. We're going to be a speedy boy here. You can see 18 harvesting versus 9. So it goes up by 3, 3, 6, 9, and doubles to 18 at legendary. So just a sort of interaction to keep in mind. However, the key thing with this character is, again, because we do no damage, we don't care about that at all. We can take things like cakes. We can take things like propeller hats. It doesn't bother us at all. Now, notably, we're talking about the interaction between improved tools as well as medical turrets, which is part of the reason that I do, in fact, like that. I don't think we really need much more speed. And again, we'll go ahead and add this up here, right? With these 3 hands, we have a total of 9, 9, 3 harvesting, so 21. If I go ahead and just upgrade a blue hand, we're going to be adding 3 and going to 24. However, if I combine these hands and then buy just a common one, we can see we go 3, 6, plus 18, right? Which puts us at 24, but will allow us to get a higher, higher amount of harvesting once we are able to just simply get 1 more hand. So I do think because you get a lot more stats per the sort of slot, it can just make sense sometimes to upgrade those legendary hands early. Even though that was not specifically the case right then, it will be evident as we go on. Now we are fighting the Butcher on wave 12, which I think will be a good example, because I think as Pacifist, this is actually probably the hardest thing you can do. Like, this is probably legitimately the hardest part about playing Pacifist. And I actually think the Butcher Elite, because it's very punishing, because you cannot burst that Butcher Elite down. And I do think Pacifist is a character that gets stronger later in the game and is weaker around like waves like 6 through 15. So we do not have really the strength to just regen a ton, and we obviously are going to have to keep dodging this Butcher. So I think this will be a good demonstration of how good speed is quite nice. And we're literally just going to run around here like we're fast enough where we can kind of get through the Butcher stuff. Like, really no issue. So that's pretty good. I'm excited to show off that improved tools, medical turret sort of interaction. Just show how effective that can in fact be. I cannot break my habit and try to run and kill enemies within a map, even though that does absolutely nothing. We're going to start cranking the armor. Love a medal, love a hand, which now upgrading to that legendary hand was very much worth it, giving us a small but significant harvesting bump. Peacocks, not bad, because again, we also get XP for things that are left alive. I feel strong enough where I'm happy to take that. Rip Terror doesn't do anything. I don't really want an alien worm. Again, Cube Monkey doesn't do a whole lot. We have enough armor where Gambling Token I think is valuable, which again is not an item I normally like. We'll go ahead and take a touch of luck. Again, Bloody Hand. It can be okay on this character. I just don't think it's necessarily worth it. like, I wouldn't say never, ever, ever take Bloody Hand, but because we don't get any bonus from that damage, like, I don't think the lifesteal portion alone on that is necessarily worth it. So we do want to be a little bit careful here. Again, may have been a little bit greedy taking that Peacock. However, I cannot go back and change my decision, so we will deal with it as we run through this here. But again, just going to kind of do like a good job hanging out. I mean, whatever, right? Like, here we go. Like, talk to the hand, baby. Stay away from us. We are taking some damage from those projectiles, so I'm going to just sort of run around here and let my healing turret save me, even though it's only healing us for 1. I do not necessarily care. But yeah, we're going to be able to essentially keep enemies away from us as easy as we possibly can, as long as they can be knocked back, which again is not everybody. So playing a little bit aggressively there, but you can see my super lovely medical turret with that improved tools will keep me alive. It actually is not. However, I like to justify my bad decisions, like all of us do. But yeah, whatever. Get a little hairy, but I'm dodging. Yeah, not too bad. Again, that's with the Peacock. I think without that, we would have had no issue. Again, attack speed feels a little low, so we'll go ahead and get that up. And again, you know, we'll start getting our HP regen positive. I do think that's valuable in the back half of the run, as well as a little bit of luck as well. I do want to start getting my HP regen up. Sure, we'll take the Fang, go even fast, get a little bit of life steal. And again, I really do like the metal plate, as well as the snail. Again, I don't care about the negative damage, and I will actually take a white flag at this point. So we are going to be dealing with this elite, which I will sort of muscle memory try to take down. No matter how hard I try, I cannot take these eggs down. Look at me, sort of failing to kill any of the eggs. I do think this elite can also be difficult because you're essentially going to have to dodge through, you know, 7 or 8 of the evolved aliens. However, we will do so without much issue here today. So we are playing Gandhi. We are playing a very much peaceful character, or whoever else may be peaceful throughout history. I do not know how peaceful Gandhi actually was. I just know that as sort of these stereotypes. So do not judge me or beat me at me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to have fun here. That said, we are playing, you know, Mother Teresa or any of those other characters, you know, who is known as a benefactor throughout history. So we will just sort of dodge around here. And this is sort of the wave where I kind of like to have a little bit of like regen, just because, you know, you are going to start taking damage around waves like 13, 15, right, when all these projectiles are around. You can still even see there, I am not too bad. Sure, for free, we'll take a helmet. We'll start getting our max HP up a little more. I'm happy with a white flag there. Sure, we'll take a dangerous bunny. Again, we don't really have a nice upgrade there, but I'll take the hand as well as a touch of regen. And again, Schmoop is another item that I don't really like. Like, I'm normally not a huge Schmoop guy, right? Like, don't catch me schmooping, right? Like, I'm not really into Schmoops. However, really good on Pacifist. And that is the reason, I wouldn't say Pacifist is like my favorite character, but one thing I do actually like about Pacifist quite a bit is it does cause me to evaluate items that I don't really like in a different context. So things like Schmoop are like really good on this character, right? Giving us HP, giving us HP regen. You know, again, attack speed is good on this character because you attack so quickly. However, you oftentimes are trying to stay away from enemies, so it's not always triggering. So I do think a blend of attack speed as well as regen is kind of the way to go here, as I'm sort of lazily zipping around here. See, we're doing a good job staying at full health, all that good stuff. So again, we'll go ahead and take the Schmoop, show, you know, think about what Schmoops can do. So feeling pretty good about that. But feeling all right here. I'm going to play somewhat aggressively, even though it does nothing, because old habits are hard to break, and I'm used to killing aliens. So even when I play characters who I'm not supposed to kill aliens with, I am unable to let go. So enough regen there. I'm not really worried about moving for free love of propeller hat. And again, I'm not beyond taking more harvesting at this point. We'll go ahead and crank some legendary regen. So really like Schmoop. Again, a little more regen. Adrenaline Cake, Wandering Bot. Like, oh, wow, double click there, so I do not know what I missed. I'm sure it was something good when I reviewed the tape. Love another medical turret, and again, Baby Elephant does not do much, simply because, you know, we aren't getting anything. But you can see once we get our attack speed up to a decent amount, which is 95, which says okay, like we can kind of just chill, right? Like, there's no projectiles on the map. Like, talk to the hand, baby, right? Like, you can't get us. Talk to the hand. So you can see just our little character doing a nice job of keeping himself safe. Like, we haven't been hit yet, even with all these enemies being buffed. I mean, what can you do? Like, hey, I'm here, right? Like, I'm dancing with my hands. You know, this is a well-built pacifist, right? We got a little ring, right? Little ring nobody can penetrate. Like, hey, enemies, we haven't taken damage yet. Although here comes the bruisers, so we have to move. Sad bruisers. I was having a good time. We were getting to know. We're having a little kumbaya circle there, getting to know each other. And then here comes the bruisers saying, nope, not my line. That's it. We'll run around and take out all the trees. I'm feeling quite happy about this. So, yeehaw. Feeling good. I do think that kind of shows the strength of this character here today. But we'll wrap this up and keep trying to pump our defense because our dodge is a little low. We do want to get that up. Help for the final 2 bosses. Do like a warrior's helmet. Again, we'll keep cranking that harvesting. Hunting trophy. You're one of my favorite items. But today, that's not your day. We do not care about hunting trophy. This run, which is sort of nice to not care about that for once. We'll keep getting armor up. I mean, I'm not super concerned. Sad tomato. You know, it's okay. We'll take it, you know, purely because I hate that item. I always take it when I don't like it. Should you probably take it? Probably not, but I'll take it here simply because, like, I don't really like it. And this is something where we can maybe get a little bit of value out of it. So we'll go take it. And again, just showing off the strength of our hands right now, right? Like, even these pursuers, like, nah. Now we're good, pursuers. Like, stay back. So feeling pretty strong about feeling pretty strong here. Again, just showing how we can do a good job stacking defense, playing defensively, using the hands, getting some good harvesting. Man, they hit us. Come on. But again, if we had some like community support here, we would not be getting touched, as that would just give us the requisite attack speed to really play defensively. So, you know, with that, like I said, with the community support, I'm pretty certain we can just hang out here. Although the wizards start spawning on wave 17 once you're 40 seconds in, as we can see that happen there. So, you know, I'm not gonna. Well, I'm going. I was gonna say I'll stay the rest of the wave not moving, but you know, I'm not. I don't want to miss out on those lovely chests, right? Again. Love me a shmoop, right? Like, we got the HP. We're feeling good. I mean, we got 47 speed, so I'll take the max HP. Why not? No good hand upgrades. That's a good hand upgrade. And again, mastery, glass cannon. I normally love those items. However, don't really care about them here, so it's nice just to kind of value some other items. Love a panda. One of the best items we could be looking for right now. And also like a med kit. You know? The panda giving us 12 max HP as well as 25 luck, putting us at a whopping 124 health, which is pretty solid, as well as 27 HP regen. So notably, I do think wave 18 is a wave you do want to pay close attention to, because you will start getting all these chargers, or whatever they're called, I can't remember, charging us, all the guys with the brown helmets. Notably, they cannot be knocked back. So this is, you know, this does become a little bit more difficult. So you'll kind of sail through those final waves, 15, 16, 17, and you'll run into enemies like this that are not affected by the hand knockback. So just be wary of that. Again, I think this character sort of has some odd difficulty spikes where this character is relatively weak, like waves 6 through 10, usually sails through waves like 12 through 17. And then I do think the last couple waves do become a little bit more difficult, although as you can see here, with 21, a whopping 21 armor, we're not really in like any real danger of dying. You know, we've never gone below the sad tomato health, so feel pretty good. But again, just focus on attack speed, defense, hands, and harvesting. I mean, that's really it. Attack speed, defense, hands, and harvesting. I love another warrior's helmet. Again, attack speed, feeling really good about that. I don't like med kits, right? They're not an item that I enjoy taking, but in this case, I will be happy to take it because we don't care about anything else. Sure, really inefficient upgrade. Probably not actually worth it to do it that way, but it is all good. But you can see a whopping 39 regen, giving us a nice 3.58 HP per second. So feeling pretty good. So we'll just kind of see. We'll hang out here. We won't be able to hang out in the bosses, which is not nice. But we can hang out here for a little bit until the projectiles start spawning. But you can see, hey, baby, we're a pacifist, right? Like, we love you. Love thine enemy. Bruises are trying to squeeze in, but you can kind of see there how the hitboxes can sometimes stop them from charging in. That said, we can probably just hang out here this entire wave and like not die. Like, yeah, we're probably going to take some damage, especially these bruisers can camp on top of us. But like, this just kind of show you how when we build a strong enough character, like, yeah, we're not moving this whole wave, baby. Like, we're hanging out. We will potentially die. Okay, we are moving a little bit. Those bruises really got in there, but again, I was taking a bunch of damage, so I did not tell the truth. Please do not hate me. I truly meant to do that. However, we were just a little, I think, low with those bruisers. Really getting good damage in on us, sort of camping on us. But you can see minimal movement required. How's that? As we've already healed up to full health. Minimal movement required. We'll consider that pretty good. No injection for us, and we got enough HP regen. I mean, none of this really matters. I'll take some lifesteal. Again, I think we're more than powerful enough. So now we'll just shore up with a little bit more defense. Again, getting a staggering amount of armor. You know, this really doesn't do much. I mean, you can see the attack speed is 0.32 times 0.38, so I'm not really, I mean, the hand is not really a big concern here. Buller's Hat is one of the best items on this character. However, we do not need it at this point. I don't need any of these. And sure, we'll just see what we missed. None of these would really do anything. But again, let's go into the bosses. I mean, we can see here, 136 HP, 42 HP regen, 18 life steal, 115% attack speed, and 29 armor. We only have 45 dodge, which I do think is a little low. I typically would like that to be 60. But again, just showing how many defensive stats we can in fact acquire if we don't have to worry about offense. Like, if we can just say, screw you, we don't need you to any of the offensive items, and we can just go ahead and focus all on defense. I do think we put ourselves in a pretty good chance to win. Generally here, it's sort of edge mechanic to note that the bosses would deal way more damage to you than the normal enemies. What this means is it's usually much better to not run into the projectiles and just run into enemies if you're forced to sort of choose between getting hit by the boss projectile. That said, I'm being really, really lazy with my dodges because it doesn't really matter. You can see we're an absolute tank. With all our armor and regen and all that stuff. Like, we really are not even being threatened here. Again, a whopping 42 regen, and that's without like an early magical leaf, and that's just not like a normal character. Like, this wasn't particularly busted. Also ended up with 363 harvesting, like without a crown. Like, that's really, really good. I mean, that's very strong. Considering we didn't have like a broken all-star harvesting start. And again, this is, I think, a good run just to show like how this can work without like an insane early roll, insane community support, insane early crown, or anything like that. Like, this is a pretty milquetoast ordinary run that we didn't really have a lot of trouble with. So again, showing these sort of like, I was about to say two things at once. I was about to say, again, showing how this character can be really effective and is quite strong, but also showing how we're like not even like at low health. I mean, we're killing. Let's run right into the bosses at the end, see if we can damage ourselves. There you go. Good, easy D5 win there on Pacifist. This is the first time I try recording this video. This is one shot. No issues. Notable standout here was just a little bit of early harvesting. Notably, the improved tools with 2 medical turrets was quite strong. That's it. Pretty normal run. You know what I mean? Easy. You go ahead and do this yourself. I promise you, you will beat D5 without any issue. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button, as that is sort of the key way I'm looking to grow the channel at the moment. Thanks for watching, and take care.